Hey y'all, it's your queen J Lotus coming through right quick, right fast with May's Major Life Lessons for Scorpio. Now y'all ain't gonna tell no lie to you. I don't even think this in here gonna be that long, because much of what y'all are learning throughout this month of May, you will be learning personally through the actions that you take and through the actions that you don't take. You all are literally having to become spiritual students all over again. And some of you may have already been thinking about taking certain classes, going back to school, doing a trade of some sort, self-education. And this is confirmation for all that. However it hit for you, this the sign. It's confirmation for it. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the overall coloration of the cards. It's giving etheric heart chakra, healing and enhancing, which needs to happen also for your sacral chakra to experience some enhancing. So this is also getting y'all deeper into sexual manifestation, and also just spirit wanted to treat y'all with some good and better sex. So if you experience an upgrade in your sex life, whether you in a relationship or not, whether you know what I'm saying, you just masturbate with yourself or not, either way, all of the sensuality and sexuality of it all is meant to be enhanced throughout this month of May. And it is for the purpose of many of you enhancing and getting into sexual manifestation, learning more about that. So that's something that many of you are going to want to research and start trying your hands at. No pun intended. Also, we have the coloration of blue here. We also got some cricks and crannies and picks and ticks of black in the mist. Child, I'm gonna talk about the black when we get to the Seven of Cups specifically, even though you know some black elsewhere, but I'm gonna talk about that when we get to the Seven of Cups specifically. But of course, that blue is all about truth. It's all about the throat chakra, and the throat chakra is having to be healed so that the third eye chakra can experience an enhancing. Okay, and needless to say, it's coming up to go ahead and say it, honey. Well, a part of it, y'all are in the dark about some things, and you haven't even really realized it. Some of you have kind of gotten the hints that you might be missing something, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is. But we'll get into that when we get to that, right? Okay. Also, some of you are needing to use your voice more. Some of y'all are literally needing to stop resisting the urge to sing. Many of you are needing to stop abusing your voice, meaning that you need to commit to the regimens that are necessary to keeping your throat, your voice, your lungs, your tonsils, your cords, and all of that healthy. So I ain't gonna lie, I'm picking up some herbal smokers in here. And ain't nothing wrong with a little piece, you know what I'm saying, a little taste, you know what I'm saying, a little puff half or whatever. Just making sure it's in moderation. And also, when you do indulge, make sure that you're going through the detoxification process after the fact, in the meantime and in between time, so you can keep that voice, that throat, that vocal box, those lungs at their healthiest. Okay, because Spirit is saying that you got a lot of raw talents, but they want to see more effort from you, and they're needing for you to put more time, will, effort, energy into maintaining and enhancing your natural gifts, showing commitment and love for your gifts. So y'all are on a different type of self-love journey that is being kicked off by this month of May. The type of self-love journey that y'all are on is about what I just said: enhancing, putting the mindful and heartfelt effort into practicing, like, not necessarily like you ain't got no talent at all, but just not resting on your laurels, not resting on being naturally talented and naturally gifted. You want to show love to those gifts by constantly pouring into them and constantly trying to enhance them by having your times and places where you make yourself a student all over again. And that's a lot of what is concerning the major life lessons of May. And it's really a ton of lessons for y'all, but you're going to be learning the good bulk of those lessons through your student process. Okay, now without further ado, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, pause before we go ahead and do that. Let me go ahead and touch on that yellow that's present. I almost forgot to talk about the yellow that's present. So yeah, all of this is going to be also as a unit enhancing your solar plexus, enhancing your confidence and your trust in yourself specifically. And this is about a state of being more than anything, because I'm also hearing that many of you have a lot and or bits and pieces of your value attached to different things and people, or different things that you do. Like for instance, many of you, if you are a spiritual worker, Spirit is saying that you have been mindlessly relying on the gratification and validation and the value of helping others through that, as opposed to having a keen foundation and a keen frequency of simply feeling valuable because you are who you are and you be who you be. And, you know, that can hit specifically for different people. So, for instance, if you're an athlete and Spirit is saying that you only feel valuable when you playing ball or when you in the midst of a game, things of that nature. So, you know, whatever your natural gifts are, Spirit is saying that you have a lot of your value and your sense of confidence wrapped up in those things that you do, as opposed to understanding that your value comes from who you are and who you be. And I'm emphasizing that over again because I want it to be clear that Spirit is speaking to y'all about a state of being, because there seems to be a lot of overactive energy going on here. And when you're functioning in the false senses of confidence and many of the other specific traits of the solar plexus chakra, you end up being in a frequency of toxic masculinity or hyper masculinity. And that can cause a dapper in your manifestation. And it can also make you more irritable, cause you to feel anxiety. Ultimately, it throws your solar plexus chakra off, and then it domino effects from there. So, I just heard that some of y'all are experiencing heartburn. And think about how heartburn works. You eat something, it goes to your stomach, which is where your solar plexus resonates. Your stomach has a bad reaction to it, and it spits it back up in a toxic way up to your heart, your chest area, and causes you heartburn. So that's literally a physical manifestation of your solar plexus being out of whack and domino affecting into your heart space in a physical manner. So those of you who probably have been experiencing stomach problems and or heartburn, acid reflux, things of that nature, that's a sign. That's a confirmation there that you got some physical ailments that have come about as a response to some spiritual ailments and some spiritual imbalances that you've had going on. So you definitely want to do perhaps a cleanse, some sort of detox and balancing concerning your diet and your stomach space. Also, make sure that you are getting and keeping a workout regimen and give special attention to abs, because seemingly small things like that can really go a long way, especially if you have spiritual ailments that are manifesting themselves physically. The best way, one of the best ways to conquer that is through physical activity of some sort. And if working out full throttle is a bit too much for you, yoga and Pilates, and even though, you know, it's still a commitment to make, it still works you out, but those are other more quote-unquote lightweight methods of getting you into it until you're able to upgrade to the other stuff. Or, you know, you might find that yoga and the other quote-unquote lightweight stuff is where you at with it and where you need to be with it, and that is fine. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the specificities of these cards, and we're going to start at the core of y'all's cards. Okay, so shame, regret, and guilt, those are all just bullshit. Simply stated, honey. And the other side of that card says thoughts can be lying, sneaky bastards. So the messages that I'm hearing from this card, one is definitely getting into your etheric heart chakra space, and Spirit is saying take your cape off. And through this month of May, they're going to be taking you through situations that have you question who is worth saving, who is worth trying to save. And other lessons that will be attached to that is your divine realm trying to stress to you that you don't need to try to take on the full responsibility of saving people. You need to do what you can. You see, releasing control and focusing on that you can control. And Spirit is saying that you heal and influence and deliver messages to assist with the saving, but it is God that saves, and it is each individual that accepts the saving if they are willing to. So this month of May is going to be taking you through a lot of realizations of people who don't want to be saved, but in the process it's also going to make you more aware of the people who deserve your energy and who deserve more of your energy, because it's going to make you more aware of some people you may have been neglecting from being so focused on trying to save other people who don't want to be saved. And releasing those people and taking your grasp off of those people are going to give you enough energy and are going to give you enough of a clear sight to see those people that are meant for you to assist and collab in their saving process. So this month of May is definitely kicking off a duality of humbling you and empowering you all at the same time. Y'all are in a new cycle of humble and empowered, balancing out that duality of that functionality. I like that. But I ain't gonna lie, this feels like it's going to feel weird, and it probably already feels weird. So definitely light, love, healing, and liberation, and good luck to you all in the midst of this path. And make sure you're being patient and compassionate and loving on yourself. Okay? Okay. So this segues us into the Seven of Cups. And when I got to this card, I instantly heard credit. Who gets it? Who gets the credit? Who deserves the credit? What is the credit worth? So these are things that you would need to be asking yourself, and things that will be made apparent to you, and things that you will decide for yourself in the midst of the actions that you take and the education processes that you put yourself through for this month of May, and so on. And another side of this is also, if you've been thinking about credit building, credit fixing, and getting more into financial literacy, this is also a sign. So this is also definitely something that you should be making yourself a student in, learning more about, because it's meant for you to learn a plethora of things through the research and the classes and the teachings and the readings and all of that, but also through experience and observation. So pay very close attention to your money and how other people handle their money and their finances and their businesses and such this month. And remember to also research and consider the spiritual aspects of the financial sector of things as well. Another message coming through for the Seven of Cups for y'all major life lessons for the month of May. Many of you are being directed to read the biblical story chapter of the last days. And you need to compare this with others' rendition, like other spiritual books and the different versions of the Bible. You need to compare and contrast the way that the stories are written, the wording, the years in which it was made, and also look at the text of other religions and spiritualities and see if they even have a section that refers to the last days. And if they do, how is theirs depicted? How is theirs described? And how is their story told? And listen and observe people's different interpretations of it. And once you've gotten all that under your belt, meditate and pray on what you learned and what you consumed and took in and heard and saw and all that. Meditate and pray on it. Do it for days at a time and journal after each meditation or during each meditation. And this is meant for you to put this in words. And whatever truth you come upon from this process, it is meant for you to expose it. It is meant for you to publicize it, put it out there, and start having more in-depth and creative discussions on the subject. Because, and this is what Spirit is saying directly right now, the way that many people interpret the story of the last days of the Bible, for starters, is inaccurate. And Spirit wants me to leave it at that. And with that, pay very close attention to the imagery of the Seven of Cups and keep that in mind in the midst of your research and your process. Final messages from this card. You all, some of you at least, need to sort through boxes, bags, etc. See what you find and determine the purpose of what you found. And Spirit wants me to leave it at that, child. Okay, and so now about the fact that y'all are in the dark about something. So the clue that Spirit is giving me to give to y'all to figure out what it is you're in the dark about, the same thing you're trying to help others find is also what you're missing. When you figure out and realize through evaluation what the one consistent main thing you find yourself constantly trying to help others find, start then applying that to yourself. Start then seeking it for yourself. Realizing what that thing is in itself is going to bring you a burst of epiphanies. And it's also going to make it apparent to you why you may feel a void in the first place. Now, the darkness of that card amongst the darkness peeking out through the rest of the cards, it's going to be revisited as I go through. So just hold that thought as we segue to the card players. And honestly, the card players and the baton girls dancing actually have some combined messages. They really can't be read one without the other, which is so like funny. The divine realm is like really funny because the main message of these cards is that you all need to learn how to collab. Some of you probably naturally make good teammates, but you really rather would not do group work just based off experiences that you've had in the past. And you know, some of you are introverts and you just really don't even want to do all of that. But Spirit is saying that you need to collab more. You need to link up with different people in your field and schedule out time, consistent time, for y'all to link and have creative discussions and powwows and exchange ideas, knowledge, and creative energy. Creative and educational energy. And this is going to help create mutual relationships of evolution. Like, oh my gosh, so much to learn about mutual relationships. Oh, I'm seeing the infinity sign. Oh my gosh. So yeah, learning about endless wells, endless vessels of abundance through collaboration, through exchanging abundant energy with other abundant people. So y'all are about to finally learn what it really means to give a whole lot and be surrounded by people who are also able to give you a whole lot. Ah, yes, I love it. Because I'm hearing that many of you are used to being the one that has to pull everybody up, that has to educate everybody else, that has to give everybody else the cheat codes, but you never really have anyone else around that has the capacity or has the stock or resources or experience or knowledge or wherewithal to return that same type of resources, energy, knowledge, and such to you. Like, you're always the endless vessel of resources. But Spirit is trying to put you around people now and get you to a frequency where you will attract it also and be accepting of it. Where, you know, people are able to reciprocate your abundance and reciprocate your rawness. Yeah, I love it. So this is definitely major lessons surrounding collabing without codependency. Now, some individual messages from the card players. Do more research on tarot cards, oracle cards, playing cards, all different sorts of cards, credit cards, debit cards, gift cards, all the cards. Do research on it and see how you can use all these different cards. And for this part in particular, if you are a tarot reader, oracle reader, spiritual worker, which it feels like many of you are, but if you are a spiritual worker, start seeing how you can use multiple different types of cards in your work. Not just tarot and oracle, but also playing cards. So like the solitaire spade cards, Uno cards, Go Fish cards, all different types of cards. Like I said, credit cards, debit cards, gift cards, business cards. See how you can use all those different types of cards in your spiritual work. And for some of you, this is a sign that you need to go ahead and make some business cards, physical and digital business cards. For the Rattan Girls Dancing, individual messages from it. You all need to have some interactions, like you need to mingle, and like I said, do your collaborations and your creative educational powwows and things of that nature. And understand too that this May is a time and place for gossiping. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. You need a little bit of everything for balance. So just remember, emphasis on moderation and it being a time and a place for everything. And like I said, this May is a time and a place for gossip. And the reason why it's a time and a place for gossip is because this is also associated with some things that many of you are in the dark about. For some of you, this is concerning relationships. For some, it is romantic, and for some, it's dealing with friendships. For some, it's dealing with people that you once looked up to or admired. And it's predominantly concerning a general consensus of having rose-colored glasses on for certain people. And Spirit is just kind of going to be giving you a wake-up call on the capabilities of these people. And not only will you be being enlightened on the capabilities of certain people, but you will also be enlightening others and exchanging notes on those same people. And for some of you, it'll be different people that you will be putting someone or some people on game to. And I can't necessarily say the specificities of it all, because it's going to be some differences for each individual. But just know that some people in situations ain't what you wanted to see them as. And for some of you, this is not about you having to cut a particular person off. For some of you, this is for you to separate yourself from whoever this person or people is. And you'll know exactly who it is when the time comes. You're going to know exactly who it is. And so for those of you, it is going to be for you to cut them off. But for some of you, It's not for you to cut them off. It's just for you to have a clear understanding and an actual truth of who you're dealing with. And it will take a lot of pressure off of yourself and off of the relationship that you have with this person, because it's just going to put you in a state and in a mindset where you stop going out of your way to try to get them to see something or do something a certain way. You're going to be able to see them for exactly who they are and accept them for exactly who they are and handle them accordingly. And when I say that's going to bring you so much peace and bring the relationship and interaction so much peace, child, I can't even put it in words. And for some of you, the gossiping is for you to learn more about your options. And for each individual that resonates with that, it's going to hit different. For some of you, it's going to be you recognizing more of your options in the dating sector. For others of you, it's going to be you recognizing more of your options for a conflict resolution. For others of you, it's going to be recognizing more of your options in the business field or whatever your job field is. It's going to be things that, for instance, if it's concerning your job, basically, let's say you've been working with people that seem like they've been helping you and giving you all the information and telling you all there is to know about your position and about your job field and, you know, how things operate and how you can advance and how you can get the most out of your experience of working there. But through this gossiping, you're going to learn that whoever that person is, or whoever those people are, or just people in general in the environment, have been holding out. They only told you what they wanted you to know to only help you get so far, because they don't want you to get ahead of them, because they want the big fish. So like I said, those of you that are resonating with that message in particular, and like I said, you're going to know for a fact when you know, okay? And you're going to be like, what? I thought I was doing something big and great and grand over here doing this when I could have been doing that. Fuck this. I'm finna do that. And all of that, for all of the scenarios and all of the resonations of it all, is meant to teach y'all that what is for you cannot be stopped or interfered with. It cannot be taken. And many of you already knew that, but these particular experiences in particular are going to remind you of it and enhance your wisdom and your knowledge and your belief surrounding it. Okay? Okay. And with that being said, it segues perfectly into y'all's last card for this layout, the Wheel of Fortune. So this is more research that y'all have to do. More research and more experiences, child. So these here, they not letting me get into the specificities of the visions of it all as far as the experience to come through with the research. Boy, why I hear this song. Experience is a good teacher. Take someone like me to know you deserve something better. Something never has the chance to grow. Child, I don't know the words like that, but them the words that they let me hear. So, child, yeah. So, research karma. When to act in order to help your good karma, okay? Or when to act in order to help with karma in general. There's just an expanded understanding of karma that y'all are needing to learn, and that's why you've been directed to research it, because it's also going to prepare you and help you navigate the happenings of this month. And honestly, for Scorpios, the happenings of this month is going to carry on into the next year. And for some of y'all, the next year and a little change. So yeah. And like I said, they won't let me specifically into the visions of the experiences that are meant to accompany y'all's research on that. And it's likely because it's going to be different for each individual, because each individual is unique, and it's something that you have to learn through personal experience. So basically, ain't no way I could put it in words to you. You gotta be there. And so the research is meant to help y'all be more present in the process, so that you're not just physically there, you're also mentally, heart space wise, and spiritually there as well, so that you can make the most and the best out of those situations. Also, along with y'all's research how game shows work, the history of game shows, cheat codes on video games, cheat codes on game shows, cheat codes on reality shows, cheat codes in life. Research all that. Research. Y'all gonna be doing a lot of research. A lot of research. And like I said, all of this research is meant to accompany the things that y'all are about to experience, because y'all are in a student-esque cycle. Remember me saying more towards the beginning of this reading that a new cycle that y'all have stepped in and are in right now has a lot to do with maintaining humility and humbleness amongst being empowered. Emphasis on being. So I'm not gonna lie. Especially being the fact that they are emphasizing experience, being a good teacher, on top of actual learning student processes that y'all will go through and take yourselves through. And the emphasis on karma. And back to the emphasis on the experience of it all. Y'all finna be in real class. Even if you're self-educating, y'all finna be in real class and a whole nother level of the class of life. And while the divine realm is definitely acting as a magic carpet for y'all, please make a conscious effort to stay calm. Please make a conscious effort to commit to your healing, rejuvenation process, your meditation process, your praying process, those types of things, because y'all finna be taken through some challenges. And for many of you, nothing will be as bad as it seems. It's going to be conflicts to be resolved, but it's going to be triggering, and it's going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, what the fuck? I thought I already conquered this cycle. So remember, you have conquered the cycle. You're just being challenged so that you can enhance certain things. And also, what this is taking y'all through is a breaking of cognitive dissonance. Many of you have some sort of spiritual cognitive dissonance going on, and it's rooted in some form of self-hate. Specifically, I'm picking up internalized misogyny, and I'm also picking up internalized homophobia. And it can be different, you know, just take what resonates and leave the rest there. And Spirit is trying to get y'all to shed those mindless wounds, those subconscious wounds, so that y'all can release it. And like I said, it's a breaking of cognitive dissonance, which is the physical term for it. The spiritual term for it is ego death. So if you've been seeing a lot of skull heads, if you've been coming across different deities and angels or such that are associated with death, the afterlife, if you've been getting the death card in readings a lot, well, this is the Scorpio read. But if you've also been surrounded by other Scorpios, then that is also confirmation that you're being led towards an ego death. You're going through the process of a whole nother level of ego death. Ciao. And a clue for many of you as to what your ego death may be concerning specifically and surrounding: reflect on your childhood as it concerns your interactions and relationships with women and girls. So other kids that were your age that were girls, those people too. You had siblings that were girls, those individuals too. Your mama, other women in your life as a child. It's a need to reflect on that. Think about the conflicts that happened. Think about the conflicts that were resolved and the ones that weren't resolved. Think about the examples that you had of women. Who were you taught to follow after? Who were you taught to disdain, if you will? Were you taught to look down on any of these types of women? Okay? And Spirit wants me to leave it at that. And with all that being said, child, if I do say so myself, honey, I have milked this cow dry. And I'm thoroughly appreciative for the exchange of vibes. And if you're feeling synchronized, please do me a divine design and like, share, and subscribe so that you can be one of the first to be back through these queenly quotas for the next time. And be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.